Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Barakahak Wadash, Barakatum. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone who rule and teach well. In peace and salutations to you sincere Akim out there, pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure until the end. This is the brother Ra'aya coming at you with another lesson, and I'm going to start it off with this clip from Iliad Augustus's Instagram page, and a fair use copyright disclaimer. I do not own any of the footage in this clip, nor do I stand to gain from it monetarily. It is simply for educational purposes.
Threat that we face is not Iran and its mythical nuclear weapons program. It is Israel and its 200 to 400 nuclear weapons and the Samson option. And if you're not aware of what the Samson option is, Israel says that if its existence is threatened, that it will, quote, destroy the world with its nukes. There are many high-level Talmudic Jewish supremacist thinkers in Israel who are ready to launch nukes and destroy Europe and the rest of the world if indeed they feel their existence is threatened. And make no mistake about it, Israel is living on borrowed time. So is Israel going to exercise the Samson option and blow up the world because the world refuses to accept this psychopathic criminal state and all of the danger it poses to the world? No, it's not North Korea, it's not Syria, it's not Iran, it's Israel and the traitors inside the United States that are the real threat.
And, this whole Samson option is just another clear cut to those 1948ers, showing that they aren't the people of the book. Because as we're about to get into with a few of these precepts, the true children of Israel, which consists of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, beginning with the elect right now, would solely rely on Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, to protect them and save them from these times of Jacob's trouble that we're quickly coming into. And, we would be as a prey to these nations. We wouldn't be, we wouldn't have our own state, our own standing army, and be at the head of, these major industries out here, from banking to the diamond trade, to Hollywood, to the corn industry, etc., etc. We are under the curses of Deuteronomy 28, and hence why our people are in a low condition. As it says in Revelation 2, verse 9, I know thy poverty and thy tribulations, roughly paraphrasing, though thou art, rich spiritually, because we are, the children of the Most High. And I know the blasphemies of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. Speaking of those Amalekite Edomites, who the prophecies they only fulfill is dealing with what the Edomites would be doing with the Holy Land, which we'll get that real quick. This is Ezekiel 36, verse 5. Therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen and against all Idumea, which is just the Greek way of saying Edom, which have appointed my land into their possession. And how did those Amalekite Edomites get the land? Setting the groundwork with the Balfour Declaration, and then further appointing, sealing the deal after World War II with the help of the United States and the UN with the Israeli Declaration of Independence. And then immediately you had, many wars after that, which have appointed my land into their possession with the joy of all their heart, with despiteful minds, to cast it out for a prey. And, though they say, we're the people of the book, and, we follow the Torah, though they really follow the Talmud, and we're holier than thou, what do they have? A standing army. They're constantly engaged in wars and espionage. And as we're going to go into with this video, they have the Samson option, which is where if the state of Israel, not the kingdom, the state has an existential threat to its existence, that they're going to shoot nukes on their enemies. which is nowhere in the scriptures, though nukes are, but not, the children of Israel using nukes. But I'm going to read a little bit from this article on progressive.org. The Samson option, Israel's plan to nuke its opponents. What's ambiguous about Israel's nuclear policy is not whether the country has these weapons, but how it plans to use them. This was published on June 24th of 2024, last year. And I'm going to jump around to hit the main parts. For the rest of the video, I will be referring to those Amalekite Edomites as 1948ers. The 1948ers' nuclear ambiguity, it lacks of official confirmation or denial that it possesses nuclear weapons, persists to this day. Nevertheless, as of 2021, researchers estimate that the country possesses 90 nuclear warheads capable of being delivered by aircraft, land-based ballistic missiles, and sea-based cruise missiles. The 1948ers are reserving these weapons for the Samson option, an all-out assault on the civilian population centers of its opponents. Not even military targets, civilian targets, which is how you Amalekite Edomites have always gotten down. When you read in Exodus, when the children of Israel were coming out of Egypt, the first nation to attack us were you Amalekite Edomites. And they attacked, those that were in the back of the convoy, those that were sick, the elderly, and the women and children. Not a front fight with the men. The ambiguity around the 1948ers' nuclear arsenal also extends to its nuclear doctrine, or the circumstances under which it would choose to deploy nuclear weapons. A previous report from the FAS describes a key component of the 1948ers' nuclear doctrine as the Samson option, a reference to the biblical figure Samson, who deleted himself and his enemies by collapsing the pillars of the temple in which they all stood. The Samson option similarly invokes murder-suicide, threatening any force that successfully defeats the 1948ers' conventional military with nuclear retaliation. The 1948ers' policy of never formally acknowledging its nuclear arsenal makes its doctrine ambiguous, but the Samson option is believed to refer to the 1948ers' plans for overwhelming nuclear retaliation against non-nuclear adversaries if the country faces an imminent existential threat, says Davenport. It would likely include deliberate, disproportionate nuclear strikes against non-military targets, such as cities, despite the clear violation of international humanitarian laws. The events of October 7th, as well as the ongoing 1948er deletion in Gaza, reveal the dangers of the 1948ers' nuclear doctrine. On October 7th, conventionally armed Palestinian militants were able to successfully overwhelm defenses at multiple points of the militarized border wall constructed by the 1948ers around Gaza. The Palestinian militants advanced under a barrage of rockets fired from Gaza into, the Holy Land, one of which struck a 1948er military base housing nuclear-capable missiles, according to an analysis by the New York Times. Even after the 1948er military managed to repel the Palestinian militants, at least one 1948er politician called for the use of nuclear weapons against Gaza. A majority civilian location, which, you can clearly see what's been going on there over these last couple of years, as reported by the Associated Press and others. Therefore, the true ambiguity that now remains is not whether the 1948ers possess nuclear weapons, but how those weapons might be used. Let's say with this article. But hey, the Samson option, using nuclear weapons against, non-military targets. Just another clear cut to those 1948ers that you just don't have the juice. You don't have the spirit, and you don't have the blessing or the birthright. Because when the true children of Israel were back in the Holy Land, these nations wouldn't be warring anymore. And not just that, but they would be following after, the laws, statutes, and commandments in the scriptures. And you clearly don't see that with their current campaign, in the Gaza Strip. More and more people are calling out, against them, calling it for what it is, a resettlement program and a mass gene deletion operation. But this is Micah chapter 4. I will read verses 1-3. But in the last days it shall come to pass that the mountain of the house of Yahweh shall be established in the top of the mountains. And in the scriptures, mountains and hills can represent governments, big governments, little governments. And the mountain of the house of Yahweh is the kingdom of heaven being set up, beginning with the elect. Shall be established in the top of the mountains, and it shall be exalted above the hills, and people shall flow unto it. And many nations, many heathen nations shall come and say, Come and let us go up to the mountain of Yahweh and to the house of the power of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. And, do you see these people out here speaking Yiddish, wearing the Shirley Temple curls, or reading from the Talmud, or having the little hats on? No. Again, you got many nations and many people protesting against their actions against the Palestinians. For the law shall go forth of Zion, and the word of Yahweh from Jerusalem. Another thing we clearly don't see. They have a parliament and government there with laws separate, from the laws, statutes, and commandments. And Tel Aviv is known as Pink City, and it's one of the top pride, alphabet spots on the face of the earth. Verse 3, and he shall judge among many people and rebuke strong nations afar off, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up a sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. Point blank, period. When the true children of the Most High were back in the Holy Land, these nations wouldn't be making weapons of war anymore, nor fighting wars. And like I said earlier, immediately after they appointed that land in their possession in 1948, you had the Arab-Israeli War, you had the 6 Days War, and to this day, you got wars taking place. And World War III is yet to even come. And, we just read about the Samson option, where the 1948ers plan to use nukes against their enemies. But, when we further go into the scriptures dealing with the true children of Israel, they would solely rely on Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai to be their sword and shield. And, that standard is going to be set up for us during Jacob's trouble when Esau comes down on us like a flood. Angels are going to be at our aid. Some brothers are going to, receive spiritual powers, and those great wonders and miracles spoken of in the past, which, protected our forefathers. Things like that are going to happen again, which is going to make any military, might that these heathens have look like a, tinker toys and child's play. But this is Daniel chapter 12. Let me see where I want to start. I'll start at Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 8. Therefore, wait ye upon me, saith Yahweh, until the day that I rise up to the prey. So right off the bat, we are not to take arms and fight against, Esau or the heathens. We're supposed to wait upon Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai until he rises up to the prey. The only thing we should be concerned with right now is getting ourselves right in the eyes of Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai. Taking ourselves out of the ways of this world and following the laws, statutes, and commandments to the best of our ability. And if you're a prophet, going out onto the highways and byways, preaching this word and putting up video epistles online. For my determination, Not our determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms, to pour upon them mine indignation, even all my fierce anger. For all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. And it's going to be Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai who's going to gather these heathens' militaries into the valley of Jehoshaphat, over in the so-called Middle East, which is really Western Asia, so that, they can have the battle in the valley of Jehoshaphat, the final part, the main part of World War III, where nuclear missiles are going to be used. And, those 1948ers are going to get wiped off the map by nuclear missiles. So the Samson option isn't going to be as, effective as they think it's going to be. This is Isaiah chapter 41. I'm going to read verses 8 to 14. But thou, Israel, art my servant, Jacob, whom I have chosen, the seed of Abraham, my friend, thou whom I have taken from the ends of the earth. Because as pursuant to Deuteronomy 28, we were scattered to the ends of the earth for our disobedience and being under the curses. We're not in the Holy Land right now. We're amongst these heathens, getting persecuted by these heathens. And when you look at these 1948ers, there's no, historical record of them being, scattered to the ends of the earth. Of course, you've had them migrating to different places, but wherever they go, they're the ones that are in the chief places of power. Look at America, for instance. You have APEC and a bunch of these different lobby groups. And, at the head of these different organizations, more often than not, it's an Amalekite. Thou whom I have taken from the ends of the earth, and called thee from the chief men thereof, and said unto thee, Thou art my servant, I have chosen thee, and not cast thee away. And it's going to be Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai that's going to take us from the ends of the earth and bring us back into the Holy Land when the elect get beamed up onto the chariots, which people ignorantly refer to as so-called UFOs. We're not of our own volition going to get on cruise ships or airplanes to go into the Holy Land. And we're damn sure not going to have the U.S., military or the U.S. government and the UN, sending us money and backing us up. Fear thou not, for I am with thee. Be not dismayed, for I am thy power. I will strengthen thee. Yeah, I will help thee. I will uphold thee with the right hand of my righteousness. Ultimately, Yahushai, sent by Yahweh to save his elect. Behold, all they that were incensed against thee shall be ashamed and confounded. These heathen nations, chiefly the Edomites, they shall be as nothing, and they that strive with thee shall perish. So Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai is saying he will personally protect and defend us, and all these nations that are going to come against us with their carnal military might shall be as nothing and perish. Thou shalt seek them and shalt not find them, even them that contend with thee. They that war against thee shall be as nothing and as a thing of naught. And that fire of his jealousy being cast upon the nations, whom he will gather together for his determination. When those nukes fly during World War III, the land of Israel is going to be cleansed of those 1948ers, and the United States of America is going to be turned into the biblical lake of fire and a desolate, uninhabitable wasteland. And then when the children of Israel come back into power, these nations are going to be subservient to us. They're going to be as nothing, have no reputation, or have no authority to ever come against us or over us ever again. They're going to come unto us, as it said back in Micah chapter 4, to learn of our ways and follow after them. And if they get out of line, we're going to judge them. Verse 13, For I, Yahweh thy power, will hold thy right hand, saying unto thee, Fear not, I will help thee. Fear not, thou worm, Jacob. And a worm is like the most defenseless creature out there, a prey to everything. So right now, the nation of Israel are as worms. Hence why these nations are able to, abuse us in the way that they do. And we can clearly see that if you've got the Samson option, where you have the ability to use nukes to attack your enemies, that clearly doesn't mean you're a worm. You're more like the predator that hunts the worm, the eagle, which, hey, the eagle is the symbol for these Edomites. Verse 14, fear not, thou worm Jacob, and ye men of Israel. I will help thee, saith Yahweh, and thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. And, like I just said, with the times of Jacob's trouble we're coming into, which is going to be worse than any other point in human history, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai is going to set up that standard to help us. Miracles are going to take place. Some brothers are going to receive spiritual powers to a degree. And what? The angels are going to be, protecting us as well. Which brings me to Daniel chapter 12, verse 1. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the archangel, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time, Jacob's trouble, the worst time in human history, worse than any other atrocity or horrific event you can think of. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, that wait upon Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, every one that shall be found written in the book of life, the elect that are not taking matters into their own hands, but doing whatever they can to please their power, Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, to receive this protection, to receive that standard. But now I'm going to close it out in Psalms 33. I'm going to start at verse 16. There is no king saved by the multitude of an host. A mighty man is not delivered by much strength. So it doesn't matter how big your army is, how many nukes you have, your combat skills, anything like that. A horse is a vain thing for safety, neither shall he deliver any by his great strength. Behold, the eye of Yahweh is upon them that fear him, and fear is the beginning of wisdom. And, how do we fear Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai? By not, following after the ways of this world, but following after the laws, statutes, and commandments to the best of our abilities, and not going out what he tells us to do, not taking matters into our own hands carnally, but waiting for him. Upon them that hope in his mercy, thou worm Jacob, to deliver their soul from death and to keep them alive in famine. Isaiah 68, my servants that follow me shall eat and drink, while the rebellious of our people who still want to be a part of this world shall hunger and thirst and lament. Our soul waiteth for Yahweh. He is our help and our shield, our weapons of war. Verse 21, for our heart shall rejoice in him, because we have trusted in his holy name, which we know the name. Unlike what these other false prophets would tell you, the true name of the Heavenly Father is Yahweh, and his Son, Yahweh Shai. Verse 22, let thy mercy, O Yahweh, be upon us, according as we hope in thee. We are prisoners of hope to Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. We believe that, we do what is asked of us to do, that Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai is going to set up that standard to protect us, which includes the Archangel Michael in our corner. But that's it with this video. With this video, I hope you sincere, Akim and Akwath were edified. Just keep strong. We are almost out of this final wicked captivity of the heathen nations, chiefly of the Edomites. And as always, I'm going to say Abad Babal, Kwam Yasharallah, and until next time, Shalom.